Welcome to Iconic Entrepreneurs, but this is the Fix Your Funnel Fridays live with Tony Stark Polici and myself, Erica Bailey. As
Heck yeah.
always, we are grateful. We like to start off with gratitude, so thank you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for those who've reached out. We appreciate it. Um, Excited to be here.
Hey, Erica, why don't we? Have you ever done the positive focus thing? Like when you have a meeting, you
No,
start off and you're like, everybody start with one thing you're grateful for.
okay, okay. You know
Yep.
what? I think didn't we used to do this with Lou?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Beginning of every one of our team meetings for all right, so why don't you start off with something you are grateful for?
Well, I am grateful that my summit launched this week and that people are loving it because
I was
the,
gonna
it,
ask.
it's an absolute wheelbarrow full of work. I wanted to say something a little more crass, but uh, it's a blank ton of work, and uh, but people are loving it, and our speakers are absolutely amazing, and so I'm just very grateful that it all came together, and people are giving us great feedback. So yeah, that's good. If you don't know anything about it, I'll do a shameless plug real quick.
Do it.
It's the AIBusinessJumpstart.com. AIBusinessJumpstart.com. It is 7 days of free training on how to use AI to grow your business, grow your revenue, automate your tasks, and utilize like the main platforms, the ones that you're probably familiar with: ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Grok. Um, what's the other one? Gemini. Is it Gemini from
You have
Google? But
Galaxy AI too, isn't that one of them?
Galaxy AI is like one of those like um, API services that brings in multiple AI tools into
Yeah.
one location. But uh, yeah, and but like I've got some world class speakers that have taught some incredible things. So yeah, I'm just grateful, very grateful that that is up and running, and we've had almost zero technical issues or customer service issues, and that is just unheard of. So there you go.
Well, that is huge. That
Yeah.
is huge. Okay, so I am grateful for we are working on a really big, awesome project. I can't say anything really until we're done, but it includes branding and microsites and brochures and video production, and it's so much fun. I love filming days. It's like one of my favorite things to do. That and my garden is kicking butt. Like I'm really happy because it's taken me a few years, but like I've got watermelons and pumpkins and strawberries and snap peas. My kids call them garden candy. So I'm grateful for just the beauty that is Mother Nature and the food that we can create. And
Yeah.
that I'm
That's
actually
awesome.
doing good this year.
Oh,
Oh, goodness. What about anybody else, y'all? When you jump in, we want to hear what you are grateful for. So, Tony, today we talked about top 10 funnel failures, right? So,
right.
I wanted to kind of go over what are these top 10 funnel failures and why are they so important? And let me see here. Let me pull up my stuff. Um, but I'd like to know what do you think, according to my research, what do you think is the number one funnel failure that most businesses actually um, end up doing?
I would say they're not properly targeting their audience.
Boom! Number one. Number one is not understanding your target audience. Building funnels without clear insights into ideal customer demographics, pain points, motives leaves them disconnected and low converting. Number one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we talked about this a little bit, and like really kind of defining your buyer persona. What does that look like? And the way we do it is we will literally create that identity, right? We'll give her a name or him a name. We will get into those demographics, those pain points, and write them down. Like, really build this person so we have a better and more clear vision of what that disconnection is, right?
Right.
So
You
that
know,
is top one.
I had an interesting conversation with a couple guys who are in the AI space this week, and they have a tool that they wanted to demonstrate. And they used me as a guinea pig. They wanted to write a book in an hour, and so we did that live, and that's posted in one of our trainings in the Jumpstart. But uh, it, part of that was they wanted to write a book about my life and my
Ooh,
using marketing and combining that with AI and keeping the authentic human connection there. Um, and so they said, give us a background on your story. And one
okay.
of the things I talked about has to do with this, because I said, I started studying marketing when I was studying acting, when I was pursuing my professional acting career. And
Yes.
one of the tie-ins that that both acting and marketing have in common is this character creation, right? In order to create a character, when you're portraying a character on stage, we do something called a character analysis, right?
Okay.
In marketing, we do, they go by lots of different names, right? Your ideal prospect, your
Avatar.
avatar, right? But it's really kind of this a very similar process. And I described how for a character analysis, we look at the lines that we have in the script. But to really go deep, and I was a method actor, so I studied like really, living the life of the character off stage, off screen, in my own life while I'm portraying it.
Oh,
You
okay.
you yeah, you have to figure out like what does this person do in their free time? What do they think about outside of what you get in the script? And really that's deep work for somebody to do with their prospect,
Hmm.
right? You might just think, well, I'm selling uh, widgets, right? So I want people that want widgets. Well, why do they want the widgets? What is the widget going to do for them? What are the kind of problems do they have in their life because they don't have a widget, or they don't have a good widget, or the widget that they had, doesn't work anymore the way that it used to. They need an upgraded widget. What do their friends think about their lack of widgets? How do they feel emotionally about their stance with their widgets? What kind of
Yes.
conversations go on in the household with the spouse about the situation with the widgets? Like these things. And so it's essential to go in and do that deep work and figure out what's really going on with your ideal target customer or client in order to nail that messaging. So I don't want to
Dig
go
deep.
on and on and
No,
on about that, but it's essential.
but you're right. You got to dig deep. You literally have to put yourself in the mind of your avatar or your buyer persona or whatever you want to call it. But you have to understand what the problem is that you are solving for them and why that is important. And so in my opinion, I think that I agree 100% with you, and I never put I never put those two together, but that makes sense. Like, you are literally, as an actor, putting yourself in the reality of that character, and it's the exact same thing, maybe a little bit different process, but it's the exact same thing, right? So what do you think
Absolutely. Yeah.
the second one would be?
What do I think the second one would be? Let's
Mhm.
see.
I mean, obviously all 10 are important. I'm just curious to see um what your thoughts are.
Well, okay. If the first one is obviously not really understanding your target market, the second one might be there's not a message to market match?
Message to market match. The answer is
Dun,
weak,
dun.
weak or unclear value proposition.
Weaker or unclear
If
value
your
proposition.
offer doesn't immediately show how you solve a real problem, visitors will not engage or even click deeper. And the whole purpose is that we want your visitors to dig deeper into your website. Ultimately, we need them to fill out some sort of lead capture, right? Because they need the solution that you're providing. And we talked about this last time when we were looking at my the AI tools that I'm building out, which I am so close to being done. Tony, you're going to be so proud of me.
Awesome.
Um, but yeah, that's what we talked about, is that literally the first thing they see needs to be a very clear and strong value proposition that is solving their problem right up front.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that back button's going to be pushed. Like it's just reality.
Yeah. Now that you say it, it's obvious to me because it's always like, what's in it for me? Why should I pay attention to this? You know, yeah, absolutely. So obvious after you said it.
Okay, number 3. Are you ready for this one?
Sure.
Number 3 was, and I did a whole bunch of research on this, guys, just so you know. But number 3 was ignoring buyer stages beyond the bottom of the funnel. Focusing only on conversion misses opportunities to build awareness, to nurture interest, and foster purchase loyalty or advocacy, right? We are building brand ambassadors. That is our goal. We're building brand ambassadors. So understanding or only focusing on the upfront, you are missing out on the nurture side of things, which is where really a lot of those leads are going to turn into customers and buyer personas. I mean, not buyer
Right.
personas, sorry, brand ambassadors, right?
So you
So
got in some of the points that you're getting to in the rest in the 7 that are following. Are you talking about the stages of the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel?
well, this is what I found was really is most businesses are ignoring what happens beyond the bottom of the funnel. Does that make sense? So number 3, so we have number 1, not understanding your buyer persona. Number 2, having a weak or unclear value proposition. And
Right.
number 3, ignoring the stages past the bottom of the funnel. Will you explain? I know we touched on this the very first time, but will you explain what that bottom of the funnel means?
The bottom of the funnel is the place where you convert. It's ultimately where, like you do your demos, sales collateral, shopping carts, customer conversion. That's the bottom of the funnel. Top of
Mm-hmm.
the funnel is the awareness stage. Middle of the funnel is where they're starting to evaluate you. Um, so, um,
So what happens with that buyer beyond the bottom of the funnel? And that is what a lot of businesses are missing, is that nurture and or follow-up phase once we collect their data, or once we get them as a lead, right?
right.
Would you agree or that I'm on track here, or do you think there's something that is in between there?
Well, no, I think you're on track. I'm just distracted because I've got a wife and a child calling me right now or texting me at the same time. So, uh,
It's all good.
yeah,
And you are welcome to text back. I'm actually going to touch on this next one. This is where I struggle really, really bad. Is number 4 is over complicating the funnel steps. So having too many steps, forms, upsells, or distractions kills momentum. Simpler funnels convert better.
right,
So what I'm visually seeing in this, so me, like when I'm building out the funnels, I have all these if else's and it just gets way too much. And sometimes they don't even work because you've got so much going on. But I'm thinking like when you go to make a purchase. So I bought some what the heck are they called? Basically templates for Adobe Illustrator, right? To edit
Okay. Yep.
my football photos. And so I bought a package for $9.99, right? I clicked the button to buy the package. Now I have an upsell that I have to figure out how to pass. Now I have a downsell, you know what I mean? So it's like, what happens once they make that decision? Tony, once I got to that first, upsell and figured out how to get past it, I was like, Psh, I'm done. I didn't make the purchase because it was too much.
Mm.
And until I read this, I didn't I didn't put two and two together. Now, are there times where having those upsells and those downsells and those add-ons like really valuable, or do you think we have moved from that type of user experience more focusing on maybe the first initial purchase and then using the nurture side to do the add-ons and upsells and stuff like that? Like, what are you seeing in today's industry?
I'm actually seeing both still, and where the or the consecutive upsells are occurring are in very um, like impulse oriented markets, impulse
Okay.
oriented decisions. Okay, so for example, you see a lot of this on ClickBank offers, where they're selling something for a low ticket price. Maybe it's $7 or maybe it's $27, and it's like this crazy thing. You're looking at like, the guy's promising that he's going to give you this system that generates leads for you using, let's just say, AI, since that's the top of mind right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it does all of this stuff for you, and you get down to the price. You think it's going to be like, $1,000, and it's $27, and then you're
Mm-hmm.
like, $27, like that doesn't make sense, but it's so cheap, like people will buy it. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell, right? Let's throw the $27. If this is garbage, I've lost $27, or I'll get my money back. And then they hit you with a 197 upgrade, and then they hit you with a 497 upgrade after that. So those things are working, and in the places where I see other things, like for bump offers, are still pretty good. If it's a low ticket thing, for example, I'll give you another example. On my summit, the last one that I did, we had a VIP upgrade, and it was $97, and they got a bunch of stuff, like literal real world value of close to $5,000 in bonuses, including courses that I put in there, things that I actually sell, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But there was an order bump where they got transcriptions of the sessions, as well as the audio recordings. The videos were part of the upsell, or part of the VIP, but they have the downloadable MP3s and the transcripts for $17. It was just click, right? About 20% of the people that came through took that upsell, and it was an easy decision. There was just a couple sentences of copy there. So there's lots of different ways to do the upsells. But I think when you're doing, um, here's kind of the way that I look at the rule. If what I'm selling, if my upsell makes it easier for the client or customer to accomplish their goal, right? If they can see, like, yeah, this really will make a difference,
Mm-hmm.
then that upsell probably won't annoy them. If you're just trying to pile stuff on to increase your ticket value, and it doesn't really connect with, like the person's, what they really want, what their result, their desired outcome is, then
Mm-hmm.
it'll flop. So, and again, I mean, I'll stand by this until the day that I die from the world of marketing, is testing. We have to test things. But your original question, what I'm seeing, happening right now, is I'm seeing both things, where it's working in some cases and it's working and not. or it's not working in others. And one place where it's not working is, well, okay, let me put a quotation marks around
An
this.
asterisk.
An asterisk, yeah, because it may just be the event itself, right?
Yeah.
Is a live virtual event, multiple days, where there is a higher upsell of like $497 after a free registration, and then a low VIP option under $50, and then a $497 upsell. Where
Okay.
that's not working, that's a big jump until there's a relationship.
So this goes back to knowing your avatar, right? Like this goes back to understanding what those needs are so that you can build out those bumps based off of really solving the problems. And
Right.
ultimately, it all goes back to that number one, right?
Well,
So,
yeah, and it's knowing those points and the problems, and being able to offer outcome promised outcomes. People want results, right?
mhm.
Nobody really wants another course. Nobody wants to spend hours going through something to, well, maybe a few people do. But for the most part, we don't, we just like, let me give you my money and you give me a result. That's what people want. And if you
Yeah,
can position your offer in a way that where that's how it's perceived, then you have a high ratio of success.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, let me find number. Oh, I lost my screen. Oh, I do this. Too many things open, right? Do you have like a million tabs open on your computer? It's like my brain. Okay, number 5. You ready? Poorly optimized landing pages. Relying on your general website rather than a focused landing page, which means no menus and very minimal distractions, can derail conversions. So, what this is saying is if you're doing paid ads for, um, uh, oh gosh, a course on how to go viral on social media, right? You got to take them to a page that is about, you know, that, right? That talks about exactly the service or the product that you're offering. But if you take them to a website that is talking about all of the things that you offer, that kills that momentum. It confuses the user, and ultimately, they're going to press that back button. Do you agree or disagree?
Oh, 100%. When we drive people to a page and there's all kinds of menus up at the top, and so even if you've done something smart, like
Mm-hmm.
created a focused page where the only thing on there is maybe your VSL
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit of copy or a lot of copy, but it's all focused. But up at the top, there's all these different menus,
Mm-hmm.
then that's a bad idea, right? And what's worse is to drive somebody to a page where there's more than just your primary offer on there, especially if you're driving ads. And another thing that is really crucial, should be obvious, is if I'm running paid advertising and the images or the message on that advertisement does not is not cohesive, or what's the word,
Aligned.
aligned, with what they see when they land on the page, right?
Mhm.
If I'm talking about, this CBD oil will eliminate blanc, 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 and then they get to the page and it's like, how's your health? Are you feeling like, wait a minute, I'm coming here to see this amazing CBD oil that's going to handle these solutions, and now suddenly the message just got blurred. So yeah.
Mhm. I've been seeing a lot of, like weight loss and fix your makeup type stuff where they're taking you from a video or an ad to a survey first. asking you questions so that they can provide you with some sort of results. And I'm really curious about the conversion rates on that. I think we need to do some research on that, because like I'll go through all of the questions, but I get to the final page and it's like, oh, okay, well, here's $199 and we'll send you this, right? I'm like,
Right.
wait, no. But now they've got my information, because you have to put your name and your email up front. And then you went through all of this work to answer the last 25 questions. And now it's like, well, do I want it? Do I not want it? And so I'm kind of interested into finding out. Obviously, it's going to be dependent on the product or the service you're offering, but I'm seeing a direction where they're sending you to some sort of a survey first before they actually give you like the cost. And in between the questions, it'll tell you like, okay, and this is what we have, or this is what we can do, or this is the number of women who answer this question. So you're getting stuff in between. But I'm just, do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah, I
in
think
between?
so.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
The
We'll have to.
surveys and quizzes are super effective ways to get a highly targeted, engaged audience. And it
Okay.
also is a way to pre-qualify. So, like, for example, I did one the other day about um, accounting services because I recently ended a relationship with my bookkeeper,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't found a replacement. Right, so I went to fill it out, and when it started asking me about monthly revenue,
Okay.
and it was like when I got to the question, it was like, we're sorry, we don't service, like your where your level of revenue doesn't fit this pricing model, right? It
Mm-hmm.
was like some kind of $97 a month thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there are surveys are being used to actually segment people, so by the time they get to that, the collection of the lead, they're
Gotcha.
actually getting better qualified leads, which makes sense because you don't want to waste your advertising dollars on unqualified leads. Or you,
That
if
makes
you're
sense.
advertising something like, if they didn't have that there and I got to the end of it and then I got on the phone with somebody and I said, hey, I'm interested in this amazing thing that you guys are doing for $100 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, well, you don't qualify for that. You're going to be at our $300 a month program. Then I'm going to be like upset because, well, you promised me
Yeah.
this in the advertisement, and now you're telling me this. This feels like a bait and switch. So
Yes.
that's one of the ways that I'm seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing, or that's what I'm feeling, I guess, when I do it, because I test all this stuff out, obviously.
What are
Because
they? What are these surveys asking you? Like, give me an example.
okay, so an example is, um, I got an ad about like how to do the perfect makeup, right? And I've never been good at it, right? And so it was like how to make yourself feel beautiful, blah 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 blah. So I click the button. It takes me to a page, or a form that's very simple, and it just asks one question at a time. And then in between like two or three questions, then it gives you like a graph and says this many women feel this way too. And then you answer more questions, and ultimately at the end it was like a monthly service for makeup tutorials. But that's not what I was looking for. I was
Hmm.
looking for what kind of makeup works well for your face shape, which is kind of what I saw in the beginning. So that's where that disconnect was. And I pressed the back button because it wasn't what I was looking for from the initial call to action and message in the front, right?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like I'm seeing more and more of that, which again is that's where this disconnect is. Now they have my email address, but I unsubscribed immediately because I didn't feel like I could trust what they were offering. Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think people are getting less and less tolerant of things that are not a 100%, connection, right? If this misses the mark, And I've noticed it in my own email marketing, right? Like I bring people on, through a specific, like for example, I speak at other people's summits,
Mm-hmm.
and I offer, a free gift as a lead magnet.
Yep.
That's part of my funnel.
Yeah.
And these people come in, and so a lot of them, I realize, they're just grabbing the free stuff. They're not really interested in having me help them. They're not qualified. And I can tell because of the engagement with the emails. And,
Okay. Yeah.
it is quite possible that, after 30 years as a copywriter, somehow I just no longer write great emails. That is a possibility. But it's more likely that there's a disconnection between what the audience really wants and what I'm offering. So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
in that case, in that sense, like there's no way in hell I'm going to think that you're just disconnected with your copy, because guys, if you've ever read anything Tony's done, you will like him because he's phenomenal. But you're
Well,
seeing a
thanks.
disconnect based off of the analytics, right? The numbers. That's what you
Right.
look at. You're looking at the numbers. So what is your next step at that point? What do you do next? You starting to see this disconnect. The number, they're not, either the open rate isn't great or the click-through rate isn't great. What is your next step to go back and adjust that?
I want to take a look and see, am I really aligned with my target audience's pain points? Like, there's a message to market mismatch at that point. So if you've got a great open rate, then you're connecting at that level. But if your click through rate, and we're talking emails right now,
Mm-hmm.
if your click through rate is low, then there's a lack of urgency in the offer. There's a disconnect between what got them to open the email and what gets them to the next step.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going back and trying to figure out, like, okay, where am I possibly going wrong? Now, one of the ways that you can do this is if you have clients that you can reach out to personally and actually talk to some of them. We can try email surveys, and email surveys sometimes work, but most of the time people ignore that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much better to pick, 25 or 100 of your customers and actually make phone calls. And I know it's time intensive, and I know it can be annoying, but you get on the phone and you actually talk to people, and you find out, what attracted you to our product or service.
Yeah.
What is going on in your life right now. I mean, how can we serve you better? You find out. Make sure that you're aligned with your audience. You may be pressing something that you think is important to them, and it's not anymore.
Yeah.
So, that's where I would go. And so maybe you can't do that. Maybe you don't know how to. Maybe you don't have customers. You can't figure that out. Well, you can go online and start doing some research. Find out, what is the topic of, or what is the niche that you're in, and go look at other things that people buy, and then go look at reviews and comments about the things that they buy, and look on Reddit threads and Quora and Amazon, and look at reviews and look at these comments and find out what people are saying. Of course, you can use AI to do some of this stuff too.
Yeah.
Perplexity and Manus is probably pretty good at that, but you've got to figure that out, and then try different things, test different things. Maybe you come up with 4 things that are like equally important, it seems, to your audience. Well, send out 4 different messages and see if you get, if you're generating any kind of, traction with those messages, and be like, okay, this is the one that they're looking at. This is the one that's important to them.
And send 4 different messages, not all in one email.
No, not all in email. That's the same things.
Yep.
Yeah, what you were talking about earlier, the example that you brought up of a cluttered website. A confused mind is not a buying mind, right?
Ooh, I like that. I'm writing that one down.
Yeah,
Confused mind is not a buying mind. It makes it very clear. Freaking brilliant. So, summary, basically, if you are seeing that your email open rates are not high, something is wrong with that subject line, right? If they're not
Right.
opening the emails, there's either an issue where they're going into spam, which you need to look into and work with your CRM on that. Or if they're opening the emails, but they are not clicking on the link or the offer.
Say that again.
I said, or the second is if they are opening the emails and you're seeing a high open rate, but your click through rate or your conversion rates are low. Now you're looking at the actual content or copy or messaging within the email. And there's a
Right.
disconnect between the offer, the subject line, and the actual email content. And
Sure.
so
Yeah.
to fix that, you have to look at your analytics. You have to do some research. And yeah, AI can do a lot of this stuff, but personally, I like to physically put my hands on some of this. Like I like to do the research, look at reviews from other products and kind of identify what people are loving and what they're not. So I think, yes, use the tools that are available to you, but also like dig deep. Going back to the beginning, identifying that buyer persona, understanding them, dig deep.
Yeah.
Am I on track there?
Absolutely, 100%. And I think my internet cut out, so it was my fault that I couldn't hear you, not yours.
Okay. You're good. You're good. Okay. So the next one. So we've touched on not understanding your target audience. That's number one, having a weak or unclear value proposition, ignoring buyer stages between the bottom of the funnel, and then overcomplicating funnel steps. And then the last one was poorly optimized landing pages. Number 6, not driving enough traffic. Even the best funnel fails if it's not fed enough traffic. Often needs paid ads or consistent outreach to get meaningful data. If you're not driving enough traffic to your website, you can't look at the data and analyze it properly, right? So
Sure.
that's like their next fail is I can't tell what's happening because I'm not driving enough traffic to my website. So what's the solution?
Well, this is the $24,000 question, right? Everybody needs more traffic. Everybody needs more leads. There's lots of solutions. You know, you lots of solutions, two main ways: organic, paid. That's it. So within those two categories, you've got lots of different options.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can try driving organic through posting on the different social media channels.
Mm-hmm.
Optimizing your keywords on your page.
Yep.
Continuing to put in content, optimizing for AI search now, which is a big thing that's driving people to websites. And there's and then of course the paid, like what channels are ideal for your target audience.
Yes. 100%.
You may not, if you're a realtor and you're trying to generate leads for home buyers, TikTok is probably not the best place to go for you. If you're selling like personal services, maybe it's acupuncture or massage therapy, or you've got a tanning salon of all things.
Product.
LinkedIn is not the place to go for that. So choosing the right channel, choosing the right right place to advertise. But that's it. I mean, you're okay. Actually, there's a third way, and that is affiliates. Okay, co-ops.
Oh, yes. Not many people think about affiliates anymore. Like that used to be the big thing, but I don't think many people are thinking about it anymore. But it is still a very, very powerful tool in your arsenal, right?
Absolutely, right. And another way, like, one thing that Erica and I do together, this is a service that we provide for people, is summits. Okay. If you're looking to build a new audience, then you should put on a summit. And if you're like, well, how would I put on a summit? I don't know what to do. That's what we'll help you do. We will help you um, build a summit, figure out the topic for the summit, who to bring on as speakers for your summit, what
Mhm.
you can sell to those people that come on at the summit,
Yep.
and how to
Yep.
nurture them and follow up with them, long afterwards. I mean, what
Yeah.
I'm doing with my summit right now is I'm creating a community of people because I want to show them how to combine creating content, writing copy with AI to automate. It's more than just creating content. I want to show them how to automate systems in their business, get more done, save more time,
Mhm.
generate more revenue. And so my audience for years has been people that were interested in copywriting. I'm going in a
Mhm.
different direction. So some of those people are going to be interested in this topic, but I have to go out and build another list. So
Mhm.
anyway, back to the point here. If you're looking for leads and you maybe don't have any experience with advertising, you're not sure how to do that, or maybe you don't have the budget for it, a summit is a great way to build an audience relatively quickly. One of our
Yep.
clients, we just did a summit for her 60 days ago, and
Mhm.
she's got a list of over 1,000 people now, right?
And these are 1,000 people that are actually in her own private community
Yep.
that are there. That's not, you know what I mean? It's almost like her own, social group. But it's a very it's she's got the exact audience. And what I found was very interesting is this is what I love about us is like you thought outside the box and said, you know what, we need to hit groups, private or public groups on Facebook, because that's where we think these people might be, the specific audience we're trying to reach. And we went from, I think we started with like 100 leads, people right up front to over 1,000. And I'm going to say between that and her YouTube channel now growing and monetizing, like that's where they all came from. So it's thinking outside of the box, right? Not just paid ads, but where
Right.
are these people? And yeah, we're having so much fun with these two. And guys, they've been very successful. You can make a very good income from doing a summit. And not only are you building your own reputation, but now you're also building the reputation of your speakers. You're giving them an opportunity to, provide an offer. And when they are invested, they're willing to, contact their own list and reach out to their own list. And that's kind of where the affiliate thing comes through, right? And we can jump on. So, can you, for those of you who don't know what an affiliate is, Tony, can you kind of give us a quick summary? What do you mean by affiliates? What's the purpose of having affiliates?
An affiliate is anyone who will promote your products or services on your behalf and receive a commission for any sales that they make. So,
Simple as that.
yeah, just that simple.
Simple as that.
And there
And
are
all
people that are
and
professional affiliates. You can
if
be
you
an
have the
affiliate.
right funnels and stuff set up, like it's automated. Like there's it's not a challenging, or complicated thing to set up, and it works. It's worked for decades.
Right. Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
How many have
All
we got
right.
left? Four?
Yeah, we're getting on it. All right. Number 7 is weak call to actions and offers. No
Yes.
urgency, no incentive, poor call to actions or CTAs, or unappealing offers leads to drop offs, especially later in your funnel.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah,
we kind of touched on that already, right? You need to have that strong call to action, not only just on your landing page, but also in your emails, right?
for sure. Yeah. Don't,
Solving the
like
problem.
this offer, vanishes in 24 hours. Don't miss this, act now. Click this button, grab this while this offer is still available. Tell people exactly what you want them to do. A weak call to action is something like, if you like this offer, click here. Um, or click here to schedule an appointment with my team, or click
Mhm.
here for a free estimate. Like, boring, weak, so what, who cares, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
Like, you have to have a strong call to action, and it needs to be crystal clear about what you want the person to do. I
Yep.
love looking at old direct mail pieces, right? they would publish in full page magazines or in the newspapers, and at the bottom there'd be an order form, and you'd cut the order form out, you'd fill it out, and you'd send it in with your check or whatever. And then when credit cards came along, you could then use your credit card. And then when 800 numbers came along, then you could call in and order over the phone. But it would tell you specifically what to do. Cut out this order form, around the dotted line, fill it out with your information, enclose it with the check made out to, and mail it to, this address, use a number 10 envelope or whatever. I mean, it was very specific. Like, they left nothing to chance. Oftentimes when people make call to actions, they assume that their customer knows what the next step is. And it's not always obvious. Like, you got to make it clear and simple.
Love it. All right. This one I think is really important. And we kind of touched on this again, but skipping follow-up and nurturing. No follow-up leads to going cold. Effective funnels include email sequences, retargeting, and personal outreach. I think that part is a huge part that we are missing, or that a lot of businesses are missing, is that personal outreach. So when you're building out your follow-up, you really need to task a team member. If you're not seeing anything from somebody, if you're not seeing an if else, a reaction or response, pick up the damn phone or have somebody send them a direct message. Like, put the human aspect back into it to re-engage the lead.
Right. Yeah.
All right, number 9, and we talked about this one too. No analytics.
Even if it's not that, like, a lot of people, I've done this myself. I've been very guilty of this in my own business, not for clients, but when it comes to Tony, very guilty, right? Like, not creating my own follow-up. I mean, I was looking at this sequence that I had in place. I call it a sequence. It wasn't a sequence. It should have been a sequence. Not 2 weeks ago, I went and looked at this thing and I was like, oh God, I never finished that. Like, somebody opts in to get this thing and they get 2 emails and then nothing. And I mean, I've got 100 people in that sequence. They've got 2 mails and then nothing for 6 months. It's like, what the hell is wrong with me? I easily distracted. So even pros can make this mistake. It's not uncommon.
No, it's not.
But it's really essential. People grow when we don't like, imagine if you didn't talk to your child or your spouse for 6 months. Like,
they're not gonna be there.
And then you show up with like, hey,
you need this $997 project or
right.
product.
Who are you?
Yeah. By then they're not even getting into their email box.
Follow up. Essential.
You touched on something, especially when you are a consultant. Like Tony and I do a lot of. Like, we focus so much on our clients that we forget to focus on our own business growth, right? Because we're just like, okay, our focus is on making sure that we are providing results for them. We have a tendency to be like, oh, crap, I need to do my own social media. That's my biggest struggle. It's like, oh, I need to do my own social media, my own emails. But I'm getting better simply because I'm learning, going through this process with you. I think it's a lot of fun. And I think a lot of coaches and stuff are doing the same thing. Like, if you're going into the coaching or even the service industry, we're seeing a lot of that same thing. So put some attention into your own stuff, guys. Like, it matters. Number 9, no analytics, testing, or data tracking. Again, it's not enough to build it's not enough to build tracking key metrics, and A/B split testing continuously is vital. Without it, you're guessing. Continuously is the word that I pulled on that one. This is not something you do once. This is something you do consistently. You need to be reviewing your analytics. I look at it daily, but even if it's just a weekly or a monthly, you need to continue looking at your analytics, and you need to always be testing, right? Always be changing based off of those numbers. So I think the analytics part is a huge fail on many, many funnels.
Yeah,
And
that's one of the
then
things you're really good at, Erica, when it comes to clients is really taking a look at the numbers and seeing what's working.
I like the data. I just like the, numbers don't lie. And number 10, and this one I kind of need your help on understanding, but assuming a linear buyer journey. Funnel stages aren't always sequential. Prospects skip stages or re enter at different points. Funnels need to address this non linear behavior. So, what do you think that means?
Well, okay, so maybe somebody comes in initially into this awareness stage through a blog post or a webinar, like an infographic, social media, or something, because they were interested in that, and then, but they weren't really interested. Maybe they were curious. That wasn't like the major pain point.
Yep.
So you properly took them to the thing that they were, that brought them in, that attracted them. And then in that evaluation stage where, like, maybe your email marketing or talking about this, they like, yeah, I don't really care about this. And so then they fall off. Like, this is where, when you notice that through your examination of analytics, this is where you introduce some of those other pain points or some of those other topics, because it's not always a linear direct path to the sale. People can have multiple different concerns and questions. A case in point would be for someone who is interested in getting physically fit and losing weight. They may have multiple obstacles in the way of doing that. Okay, you might be offering a fitness program, but they may have some real physical limitations, and they can't do that, the program that you suggest. Maybe the way that you're positioning, and they disqualify themselves, like, I can't do that. This isn't going to work for me. So they go off. You got to bring them back in through some other direction, right? Does that answer the question? Like,
I think so,
my
actually.
ADD just kicked in.
I know mine. I think so, because I'm now looking back at that whole makeup questionnaire survey thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't move forward in that linear space. I actually moved backwards. So making sure that now you are communicating with the buyer based off where they are in that journey, not based off where you think they should be.
Right. Very good, Erica. Yeah, absolutely.
Very good, Erica.
Brava.
Brava. All right. So just in summary, guys, there are 10 failures, or 10 fix your funnel failures. Not understanding your target audience, having a weak or clear value proposition, ignoring buyer stages beyond the bottom of the funnel, overcomplicating the funnel steps. I am so guilty. Poor optimized landing pages, not driving enough traffic, weak call to actions and offers, skipping follow-up and nurturing, no analytics testing or data tracking, and assuming a linear buyer journey. Now I'm going to add 3 that I'm just going to say them out. We're not going to go over them because we're running out of time here, but bonus fails to sprinkle in: poor mobile experience.
Absolutely.
Mobile is where it's at. If you don't have a solid mobile experience, you are probably losing, I'd say, 70% of your audience. No feedback loop. You touched on this, failing to ask for user input or monitor post-purchase sentiment, hampers improvement. And then the final one is sales and marketing misalignment. When handoff fails, progress halts mid-funnel. So those are the other 3, and maybe we can jump into that next week. We actually have something cool happening next week, I believe.
Yep. Yep. Next week,
What do we got
provided
going on?
provided we got this, everything goes as planned. I've got the wild man from Winnipeg. His name is Paul Douglas. He has been a longtime friend of mine. He is a ginormous man. He's his company's called Titan, and he is like the gentle giant. Like guy's almost 7 foot tall, big beard, looks like a grizzly
Really?
bear.
I didn't know he was almost
Yeah,
7 foot
Paul's
tall.
Paul's big, and
And big in stature and big in personality. That man has got it all.
yeah, and he's got a big heart too. But Paul, you know, he builds funnels. I mean, he's a GHL
Certified expert.
certified expert, and he knows an awful lot about building funnels. Has been doing it for years. So he's going to come on, and we're going to grill him.
Yeah.
And so that should be great. So looking forward to that.
Fantastic. Well, you know, guys, we do have that 5-minute funnel fixer. It's fixer.weareiconic.com. It is in the chat. We also, if you want to talk with us about summits, I'm going to drop my calendar link in here. Let's just have a conversation. I want to help you understand what Tony is talking about here and see if there is a way to bring you value in that sense. So I'm going to make sure I drop the calendar link into our chats here to be able to find it in the comments wherever you are. Other than that, guys, I am really excited. Again, please feel free to reach out. Send us your stuff. Tony, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to create a landing page where people can submit their funnels for us to review live. Make it super easy.
Sounds great.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, Tony. As always, I love spending time with you. And
Same here, friend.
See you next
Love
Friday.
doing this. Thanks everyone for joining us and those who are watching after the fact.
Yep.
Can't wait to help you fix your funnel.
Boom.